Hello Linux fans, Rob here. Welcome to Linux Quest, and as always, thank you for watching. So I've been keeping my eye on Elementary OS. It's a distribution that I've always liked. I've done a couple videos on. Unfortunately, there haven't been much in the way of major updates coming from Elementary OS. We're still on the 1604 Ubuntu base. This is Elementary OS Loki. However, though, there recently are some updates for 2017. So I wanted to share those with you, as well as for those of you not familiar with Elementary OS, I wanted to go through some of the highlights on really what makes it a standout distribution. There's a lot going on here in way of built-in apps, a really cohesive and well put together UI. So we'll cover some of that for those of you maybe not familiar with Elementary OS. Firstly, let's jump over here, and you're going to see some screen tearing. So I just want to apologize ahead of time for the screen tearing. There are some settings and some things I have put in play to try to minimize that. Earlier, I actually really hosed things up and had to reinstall, so please forgive me. Just going to have to put up with a little screen tearing for the video purposes. I wanted to get this posted, and then maybe later I can fix some things and come back and even do a video on it. So some of the updates involve some of the built-in apps like Photos. So within the Photos app, which again is a built-in app that's really nice. It's one of my favorite photo viewing apps within Linux, and the reason is there are editing functions built into the viewer, and so we'll take a look at that a little later, but this is also where some of the largest updates are. So one of the updates includes easier to read information pertaining to the photo. So where before maybe you would see like latitude and longitude and a series of numbers, now they have put that in an easier to read and understand format. So that's a nice addition. Also, they've added some keyboard commands for those of you who fancy using keyboard shortcuts. You've got Control plus S for save and Control plus Shift plus S for save as. So that's a nice addition. And then another big update is support for GIFs. So if you put a GIF within your photo folder, it will index through and show up here in the Photos app. So nice addition. Within Files, you've got a few changes and updates there. You can now perform a full search just by starting the typing process, whereas before you had Control plus F to do a universal search. Also some stability fixes, code cleanup, and small high DPI fixes. Now there was an issue with parental controls preventing a service within the OS. That was reported on by several users, and it looks like the team was able to find that and fix that, so that's good. Also within Network Indicator, now if you go into airplane mode here, you'll see this airplane icon as opposed to the Wi-Fi icon. And I want to say something about these system tray applets here. They're some of the best within Linux. I think maybe Solus comes in very close there, but I'll get into that more here in just a minute. But that's one of those nice standout parts of Elementary OS for sure. Within the Applications menu, not a lot of major changes. Some of the icons I think have been updated, but more importantly through the application launcher, you're going to find here instead of numbers, which used to be 1, 2, 3 for example, here you're just going to see 3 dots. So we'll take a look at that as well. Captive Network Assistant, so I think they've giving you the ability now to turn that off. So, you know, if you're in an airport or coffee shop or something like that, you could turn off the network assistant, which I believe goes out and tries to find the network and set it up for you. So nice addition there. Change or fix of the calculator, where they had a quirky issue that was copying all the information across all calculator windows. So that's not good. You don't need 7 more zeros than you intended. In Terminal, now when you go to type in your sudo password, you will see asterisk to let you know that yes, you are typing, as opposed to a blank space. And I don't know why everyone doesn't do that. And then under look and feel, they've changed the GTK header bars here. You'll see this was GTK2 and now GTK3. It's a little darker, so it shows up a little better. And style sheet fixes for the borders in the GTK Assistant. Under Bluetooth indicator, which Bluetooth is on now, we'll go ahead and toggle that off. You'll see that that changes to a lighter gray, so now it's reporting the correct status of Bluetooth when it's changed. And more, in addition to the updates mentioned above, several other components have received updated translations, stability fixes, and general code cleanup. So that's all good. If you're currently running Elementary OS Loki, you can go into the App Center and hit Update All and get the latest updates. Now, I have installed this on my main system, and so far so good. There was the update process that I went through. Funny enough, the first time it installed the updates, I connected to my network, and it installed the updates during the install process. The second time around, I had to go in and actually manually do the updates. No big deal. It doesn't take that long, and for the most part, I think everything applied as it should. All right, well, I'm going to close out my ugly mug here and then jump over into some of the features that I want to share with you. And again, if this is your first time seeing Elementary OS, I think you're going to like what you see here based on the consistency of the UI, the artwork, and the overall design. If you're coming from a Mac, I think you'll like it just because of some of the UI features, which we'll talk about. First of all, I'll just talk about the desktop here. It is not an active or a live desktop. If you right click or left click, you're going to be getting nothing. There's no menu or anything to choose there, and that's okay with me because I typically do not put icons and folders and such on my desktop anyway. Now you've got a dock here or a plank here, and it is, while it's not the most I'm going to say the most customizable dock as far as background and things like that, it is very easy to use and it's very consistent with the rest of the Pantheon desktop. The other thing you'll notice is up top here is a transparent taskbar, and so from left to right you've got application, clock and date, and then you've got system tray applets. Now again, you're going to see some screen tearing here. I don't think I've resolved it all. Again, I apologize, but it's important to go through these applets, which I think are some of the best in the business. Let's start first with Application Menu Launcher. Now this is going to look different than what you'll typically see in Ubuntu and a lot of the other distributions out there. Rightfully so. It's Pantheon Desktop is different, but this works well with the rest of the interface, the rest of the UI of Elementary OS. So you've got about 3 options here. You cannot right click and configure like you would within, say, the Whisker menu. You just do not have a lot of options here, but you've got quick search. For the most part, it's very fast. Besides search, you've got what I call the icon grid view here, and then you can scroll by rolling your mouse wheel. Used to be you'd see page 1, page 2, or 1 and 2 here. Now you're just seeing dots. That was part of the update. Now my favorite view here is the category view. So you've got a list of categories on the left, and you can quickly go from one category to the other to kind of focus in on what you're looking for. This is nice if you install an application, for example. Now, some nice features. Let's say we wanted to pin one of these apps. Let's see what's not there. Calendar. So if we wanted to add calendar to our plank on the bottom, you simply right click, and you've got a couple options: add event, about calendar, and add to dock. So we'll just add that to the dock. And now, as easy as can be, let's say we don't want the calendar icon there. We want it over here far left. You left click and simply drag. Now let's decide, okay, no, we do not want that there. You can right click and choose or uncheck keep in dock, or simply drag it up and you'll see it go poof as you let go. So nice little animation effect there. So really easy to configure and set up and place what you want and what you do not want in the panel here at the bottom. So nice job. Overall, again, it's fast. It does what it needs to do. Not a lot of customization there. It's kind of the keep it simple method, if you will. Let's move over here to the center. You've got a drop-down calendar where you can go in and adjust date and setting. You can toggle on or off the 24-hour format. We'll close that out. Now over here to the applets, I love these because number one, they're spaced evenly. None of the icons are out of place. They're all maintaining their aspect ratio and everything, keeping their size, which gives you just a great consistent feel. But they're also interactive. So we're going to step through that. So we'll start with volume here. You'll notice you've got controls for music. So if we were playing a song, we could fast forward, rewind, pause. You've got input, output, and then you can launch right into sound settings. So we're getting a black screen behind these settings and controls right now because I've turned off some of the shadow effects and things like that to try to prevent screen tearing. So normally you would not see that. Alright, you're going to see the same here with Wi-Fi. You're going to have a drop down and then you can launch right into network settings. And then from there you see battery. Now I love this because you not only see the battery of the laptop here, but you see the battery of the wireless keyboard and mouse. You also going to see here apps that are using lots of power. If we wanted to show the percentage of the battery, we could toggle that on or launch right into power settings. And then here we have notifications. Now this is where Elementary also does an excellent job, because you launch into an area where you can control the notification bubbles, sounds, and the notification center per app here. And again, this black window is part of what I have gone in and tried to set up to prevent screen tearing, so that's why you're seeing that. Alright, so we're going to close this out and then we'll launch over here, and this is where you could log out, log in as a guest, shut down, so on and so forth. Excellent job here with the system tray applets. And the entire interface is again very cohesive. I want to launch into another area that I think is a shining example of what an app center should look like in a lot of ways, especially for someone new. You see these large colored, individually colored, everything looks a little different so that you can easily spot the category of applications that you want to jump into. You know, if these were all just kind of dark gray icons with the same lettering, nothing would stand out. In this way, it really stands out to you and makes it easy for the user, especially someone new, to go, okay, I'm going to jump into audio here. Now this is where I've got an issue. For whatever reason, after the update, all of the icons are not showing up where they should. We're going to go over here to updates because I want to point out a few things to you. So once you've gone into a main category, let's say we went into document viewer. Okay, it's going to make a liar out of me and not show a screenshot here. Let's go to App Center. My goodness, I can't believe this. All right, before I did the update, what happens here and why it is so nice is if you go into a main category and then you go into any of the apps, what you get is a nice description, a long description of the app, and typically you're going to get a photo. So after the update, again, I'm not sure what's going on here. I'll have to go in maybe and do another update just to check things. But typically you're going to see a photo and you're going to see a nice long description of what the app is. The reason that's so awesome is because if you're new to Linux, you're going to struggle figuring out what applications you may or may not want to use. And having an app center in place like this with long descriptions and a photo, when it's working the way it should, it's a huge help. In the past, I may have had an issue like this with App Center, I believe, during an update. Anyway, if I get that resolved, I may come back and do another video. Let's talk about the file manager, the Photos app we've looked at, the music app. These are all, again, apps that are built specifically for Elementary OS. Clean interface, limited on a lot of settings and things like that. You'll notice that you close all of these out to the left, so if you're coming from a Mac, that'll be familiar to you. There are ways to change the controls, and I'm actually going to get into that a little bit in a separate video, so stay tuned for more there. And again, this black box you see is not typical. It's just one of the settings I put in place to try to minimize screen tearing. Let's look at the file manager. And so from here you're going to see a panel on the left that gives you shortcuts. And I really like the file manager. It's clean, it's simple, you've got multi-tabs. It's not super powerful, as in, Dolphin from KDE. It's not, where you can go in and set things up on that level, but it does everything you need. So here I'm going to hit Control and scroll my mouse wheel, so you'll see I can zoom in and zoom out. So that's a nice feature. Also, you've got the ability to check individual files and folders for multi operations. So you could skip over 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever and just choose exactly what you need. So that's nice. Also, if you right click, you've got cut, copy, paste, move to trash, all the usuals, but then you can also go in and highlight a particular folder. So let's say we wanted to highlight videos here in red. Well, let me actually do that, and now that's going to stand out a little more. And let's zoom in so you can see that. You can also right click here and rename any of the shortcuts or remove any of the shortcuts. So it's certainly capable. The icons are beautiful, very professional looking. It does what it needs to do. It's just not the most powerful file manager on the planet, but good job nonetheless. Let's just pop into terminal, and you'll see a little there's a little translucency there to the terminal. And some of the other applications installed, and there's not many. If you go into accessories, you're going to have calculator and screenshot tool. Under graphics, photos, which we looked at. Again, photos does a phenomenal job. Or did we look at that? I want to make sure we did look at that. So if you highlight a photo, you've got controls and tools down here. You can crop, auto adjust, things like that. Remove red eye. Just an excellent job here. You'll see to the right the photo information. Raw photos, you can work with that. It's a great standout app, really. I love that you've got editing capability within the app. You don't have to go from one app to another for simple edits. Go back to look at some of the other applications. Under Internet, you had Epiphany web browser. You will not find Firefox or Chromium pre-installed. I installed Chromium from the App Center. Under Office, you just see Calendar. That's another built-in app. Nice, beautiful, clean interface. Also under Other, I installed Window Effects, and the Twerk came in from my Chromium setup. Twerk is actually one of the tools that you could use to set up Android apps within Chrome or Chromium. So in case you've never heard of that. Under Video, you're going to see the built-in apps with the exception of Voco Screen, which I installed. And then under System Tools, we'll jump over into System Settings. Actually, let's take a look at multitasking. So you're going to see multi-windows. You can scroll from one to the other. It's a nice setup. And you also have hot corners that you can set up where, if I wanted to move down to a hot corner, I could set that up for, let's say, multi-tab view or something like that. Let's go back over into System Settings. And if you'll notice something too, so I'm going to pop to Internet, and then I'm going to close out. And then I'm going to go back to Applications. You'll notice it opens up right where I left off. So if we go to System Tools and we close out, it's going to come right back into System Tools. One of those little things that makes it really nice. Let's go into System Settings. And here you're going to see categories of personal, hardware, network, and administration. There's the parental controls they were talking about where they fixed that. Now this is a nice feature, mouse and touchpad controls. You don't find this particular group of settings in all distributions. So you could choose primary left or right, reveal pointer, pointer speed. You're going to find some of these in distributions, but not the full complete list from mouse to touchpad like you have here. Displays, it was very easy to go in and set up multi-displays. No issues there. You could set up your online accounts. You can go into desktop. You've got a nice selection here of wallpapers. I added this one with the message in a bottle. You've got a few dock settings here, so you could change the icon size from normal to large. Pressure reveal, so not sure what that changes. I'll have to check that one out. And then you can toggle on or off hide when. So focused when the window overlaps, any window overlaps, you can turn that off or on as well. And then here's where you could go in and set up hot corners. So you could set any of these corners up for multitasking view, maximize, minimize, show application menu, so on and so forth. So that's a nice feature as well. We've got these all set right now. You can also set up a custom command there. We've got these set to do nothing. So we're going to go back to all settings for just a minute here, and that's again notifications, power, and if you've got a Wacom tablet, you could set that up, for example, date and time settings. So everything you need there, but most of that you can access here from these applets for really quick access. So overall, really looking forward to what the Elementary team has in store for the next version of Elementary OS, because this is such a nice operating system. I think it's good all around for beginners to experienced distro hoppers. I'm going to ride this one out for a while and actually get in and do some tweaking and things like that, and try to get rid of this screen tearing issue without hosing the system again. And maybe I'll do some follow-up videos here on some of the tweaks and things that you can apply to Elementary OS. We'll get into maybe more Windows controls and tweaks and things like that. So hope this helps. Thanks for watching, and we will check you later.